Hell yeah.
And welcome back to Bros No Landfill. We're getting defunct up in this bitch. We're outdating ourselves. We're fucking not good. I don't know what's going on with this stage.
Nothing new. Man, it does not feel like a week since we last recorded.
It does not.
Has it actually been a week?
Oh dear.
Yeah, man, it feels like it's been yesterday. I mean, for the people watching, it'll have only been like I think like 3 or 4 days.
True.
Unless they've been watching, and they'll be watching this like potentially like right after. So they're like, wow, they've experienced a week of time travel in a minute.
Do I actually go down there? Is that a thing where I should go?
I think you go down there, and I think you climb on top of it.
Okay, I'm gonna go down here.
Nice.
Okay, now where did that put me? Oh.
I swear this is like the most disorienting game I've ever fucking seen. The fact that you can interpret even 1 pixel of this gobbledygook is truly astounding.
Gobbledygook is absolutely the right way to.
Oh yeah, that does actually just put me. That does actually just put me right at the end of the obstacle. Cool.
It's just like what? So what's new with everyone in the week that we kind of blinked and disappeared?
I
downloaded Blender.
Hey.
Damn. Man, actual progress. I downloaded Catalysis, the Ace Attorney online scripting tool. So I've been learning how to script offline for this online program. But that's nowhere near as impressive as actually learning Blender.
Oh, I haven't done any of the tutorials or anything for it yet. I just have the program downloaded.
Right. The first step is still important.
See, I actually built an offline script for this online website to build Ace Attorney frames in the editor.
Yeah, so hang on. Explain to me what this thing is.
It's a Python application that takes a predefined script.
Just did a little stutter. Woo!
It basically takes 3 text files and builds an Ace Attorney online case out of them.
Okay, so is this this is easier than just using the online editor? Or more efficient?
From what I've heard about V6, yes it is.
So both the actual online editor with V6 and the scripting tool have their own learning curves. The upside to using Catalysis is you can work on it completely offline, and you can do a bunch of fancy presets and macros to. So I think the coolest thing with Catalysis is the macro system, where you can basically build out multiple frames, and then just call the macro and it plays them all out. Which is similar to V6's preset system, but the preset system in V6 is limited to a single frame.
Trybien, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, and that's exactly why I am doing this to sound smart.
Okay.
I think I get it, but I also have a lot of prerequisite knowledge that the average viewer surely does not have. Like, what we have done is just shoot our attention in the absolute fucking balls on minute 1. But personally, as an individual and as your friend, I was interested.
Yeah. The real benefit, though, is if you're using doing collaboration, you can use source control tools like GitHub, so that multiple people can work on the case at the same time, rather than having to worry about stepping on each other's feet.
That makes sense.
Oh, I see some fucking spinny boys up top.
Damn straight. But yeah, what's cool with Catalysis really is that you can just once you get all the objects set up, you basically just need to say, okay, this is what's on the frame, and then you just write dialogue. And you can define, and you don't have to like type out the full character's name. You can define a prefix. So let's say if you want to have like Apollo Justice in your case, you could set the prefix to AJ, and then it goes like AJ dot whatever you define the pose as, and then just colon, and then it automatically puts pauses and word wrap in for you.
Wait, so why are we making a case with Apollo Justice's colon? What happened? What the fuck kind of murder was this?
Hey, at least it wasn't his kidney or his liver.
Why is that better?
Actually, no. Probably the colon's probably worse to have a case around.
Yeah. I don't want to be finding objections and witness testimony about a polar justice's colon.
Now, Phoenix Wright's colon, on the other hand.
We need our show needs to stop.
Yeah. Like really, the biggest downside to using something like Catalysis is you don't get that instant feedback of how the frame looks.
True. So I suppose you could do quite a lot of work and then like not realize that it's going to look completely wrong.
Yeah, and then and the other half of that too is that like every time you make a change, you have to rebuild the case and like on the site.
No,
So
it
it's
would
like, even if you're
probably be better if I just waited for this to go back up, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Woo!
Spinny boy.
All right.
So they come with their pros and cons, but I think overall so far I'm liking Catalysis more, especially because I'm super paranoid about accidentally deleting the online case.
Yeah, well, having version control and stuff seems like.
There we go. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, there's a jump.
You're actually in a real life game studio. Well, taking part of actually 2 real life game studios, so like you understand the importance of all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I like your use of the term "real life" because I mean your team making a game is still happening in real life.
I would say it's happening in real life, but like it's an online it's kind of like online passion / hobby projects versus something that you do professionally.
Sure. I guess so. I mean, I feel like the differences are kind of arbitrary, but like everyone's perspective.
Yeah. Well, I would also say the other difference too is that even like when you do like hobby passion work as an artist, like that's all going towards your career. But the stuff that I'm working on is purely for fun.
I suppose so, but I feel like that's about like my personal intention and life path. But like when it comes to what we're actually doing, like I'd say we both develop games.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, it's not like tools. I guess like the really like there's no real like fundamental difference between like saying it's like online versus offline. It's just the implications or impact or whatever outside of the art.
I just like personally with the way I view the world, I kind of dislike something only being legitimate if it's tied to career.
I guess maybe the difference we're seeing there, like I'm not seeing the I'm not seeing the online stuff as any less legitimate. I just kind of just like see it as a descriptor.
Sure.
Like I think they come with their pros and cons. Like I think the idea of like a quote unquote online passion project that isn't like connected to your real career or real stuff can be kind of liberating because it gives you kind of the freedom to not have as much consequence as otherwise you would have.
That's true. Well, like I definitely find that the easiest things to work on that get me flowing the most are the things where I don't feel that pressure for sure. Like my dumb side project is the thing where I'm completely uninhibited by my own fears or like the idea of treating it like work, you know.
It's like this. It's like I feel like I can pick up new skills. I can kind of boost some skill levels here or there without like thinking, oh, I have to do this for a paycheck.
Yeah, or like it's easy if you're creative to get really perfectionist about what you're doing and be like, I'm never going to make the thing I want to make.
I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah. Because you're like, oh no, like I'm not ready to make the real version of this idea yet, or like, I'm not doing justice to my idea. Yeah, that stuff is super tricky. And you know, I've noticed like when I do a little bit of teaching of like beginner animation stuff, like just getting people past that point of like not deleting everything they draw is actually pretty hard.
Oh,
what the hell? That's cruel.
That's what happens there. Okay, cool.
That's what happens when you hesitate. Cause yeah, like I try and start off the class by being like, all right, like everyone just like doodle for like 15 minutes and like just to get the hang of, you know, using your wrist and just as like a warm up. And like even then, I have to be like, hey, you don't like I'm watching people just delete everything that they do because it's not good enough. It's like this literally isn't the work. But I understand the impulse because I have to fight the same thing.
Right, because like your mind's eye and like your hand are doing two entirely different things, and that's super frustrating.
Yes.
Well, and also like we are our own worst critics as well, you know.
That too.
Like I when I go back and I read a script that I wrote, I'm just like, this is terrible. And like nobody will say that it's terrible. I will be the only person who looks at it and says that it's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Trybien. I'll look at it and say it's terrible for you.
You're a good friend.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's in some ways like I do have certain quirks to my writing that I'm trying to hammer out, but that's because I'm a weird conversationalist in the first place, and a lot of that shines through with my writing.
A lot of writers are like that.
Yeah, where I've been trying to work to make my writing a bit more natural. Like in real life as well, like I have a really bad tendency to put qualifiers on everything or start a sentence with like a whatever the like you say like a short thing, comma, whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's sort of like so like sort of thing. And I'm trying to, like, something I really want to do with my current project is cut a lot of that bullshit and just have it just be, like, kind of as matter of fact as possible. Like, outside of, like, oh, I like how this sounds. Or, like, going for a specific effect with the word choice, but otherwise, try to be a bit more confident without having to qualify everything that...
Right, well, that's, like, an aspect of your sort of personality that, like, is difficult to not bring through into the work, which is interesting. Because, like, in a story... It's not just your own. It's not just like you expressing something. It's like you're trying to create a whole universe with full of beings and things and people that like don't work exactly like you work.
Yeah.
And have to be relatable to other people.
And I know like historically for me, I've had issue growing up, and like I'm very self-conscious about.
Is there anything else that I need to super worry about? The spinny boys.
Oh god, that's a gap that you have to bridge.
Okay. This isn't bad. I'm assuming those kill you if they touch you.
Yes.
It looks doable, but just like there's not that much room for error on just basic traversal because everything's super skinny and weird.
Yeah, this level doesn't look terrible.
Like I've just like historically had confidence issues with idea communication.
Yeah.
Which I think leads to me to be overly wordy and overqualify ahead of time rather than expanding the ideas at appropriate intervals.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, I know like a few people like that, or people that are like really heavy on like justification rather than just sort of getting to it, because it's like almost like sort of like asking permission. To even, whoa,
that's rough.
To even share it. But yeah, I think what you were mentioning earlier, going back a little bit, like that whole feeling of like your mind's eye and what your hand is actually producing being different. Like, I think that is a big source of like frustration or anxiety and stuff with artists, and I've definitely felt that before. I guess like you have to learn how to treat the warm-up as like a period of time where the difference between your mind's eye and what you're doing is okay. Where it's like the warm-up is to get those two things a little bit closer, and to expect it to be kind of wrong, at least for a little while. Yeah, and maybe this is like a realization I'm having right now that like maybe when I get people to do a warm-up, I need to express what a warm-up is, because it seems intuitive, but it might not be.
I mean, it's just like with sports, like you warm up with sports so you don't pull a muscle.
Yeah.
Like that urge to delete is sort of that muscle pull.
And you don't expect to be at like 100% physical capability right away in that situation.
Or even like not even necessarily all the time too. Like it's a matter of like pacing yourself and knowing your limits at a moment, and knowing when you can push those limits or break the rules or whatever.
That's true, because like as an artist, I often get to a point like I'll have like a really good day or a really good session and think like, okay, well that's the new standard, even though that's not sustainable or something I can reasonably expect for myself to like have my third eye open every time I put a pen to paper.
And the other half of that too is like when you indulge those desires to like quote unquote pull a muscle, like you lead yourself to causing that situation to happen more and more. Like you're like the more you delete your own work, the more you build that expectation that you're going to delete your own work. Meanwhile, like if you're someone that who stretches muscles frequently, a lot of people who pulls a muscle frequently, you're going to likely become someone who overstretches to compensate.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're expecting to have to delete your work, you're going to create something that you're going to want to delete. Where if you're expecting to pull a muscle, you're going to overstretch, you're going to hurt yourself.
Basically, the moral of the story is look after your muscles.
Get a full night's sleep, meditate, talk with a therapist.
And that's how you get good at drawing. I mean soccer. I mean, what the fuck's
North
going
American football.
Yeah, there you go.
You mean monkey ball?
Yes.
There
That's how you get good
it
at monkey ball.
is.
When was the last
My
time you
favorite
talked with your
sport.
monkey therapist?
Monkey therapist.
Thank you for that, Lunchbillion.
Very cool.
Can I just say I love the rotating square obstacle on this stage. That's so satisfying to traverse correctly.
Hell
I'm glad.
yeah.
I'm happy for you, Tark.
We all deserve a monkey ball obstacle that is like satisfying and fun and not like just, you know, having dirt rubbed in our eye, you know?
That is his monkey ball therapist.
The course is my therapy.
So true. Just throwing myself at the level with my brain turned off. That's my therapy.
That's how I feel about playing some video games, you know? Man, I've been like, I had a friend recently start playing through Kingdom Hearts. He's deep into
Here we
Kingdom
go.
Hearts 2 he's deep into Kingdom Hearts 2 post game, and it's been like enable. It's been wanting me to like just start over Kingdom Hearts 2 all over again, and I'm resisting the urge because I don't have the time for it. Because I'll just sink everything into it.
There's no time for my happy place. My happy place will consume all of me.
Yeah.
I remember talking to someone once, and she was like, you know, like for some people therapy works, and you know, some people do other things. You know, like I think for me, horses really help, just being around horses. And I thought, man, you need more than horses.
Overshot it.
Did somebody say horse cult?
Oh, god damn it! This is a different woman.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if like therapy quote unquote doesn't work for everyone. I just think it can sometimes be hard to find the right therapist, especially depending on whatever your issues are.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually read recently that therapy, that like different sexes take different kinds of therapy better as an aggregate. It's like the one-on-one conversational therapy that we tend to think of these days, by and large, works for women. But men need like some sort of group therapy or activity-based therapy to really.
But is that because of the sexes, or is that because of the way that our social dynamics are, where men typically tend to be lonelier due to
what
society?
is this?
This is bullying.
Okay, we're good. All right, now we got the spinny boys. Whoa, what the fuck?
Well, okay, bye.
Nope, we're
Skip,
lit.
skip,
No!
skip,
No!
skip.
What?
Skip.
Skip.
Yeah!
Let's go.
That
Only
was
20 minutes on that one.
That was awesome.
I have
Yeah,
no
just-
idea what happened at the end there, but I loved it. Anyways, let's do this one.
Yeah. But like
I want to save escape sequence for last.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would be. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if there's some like level of like maybe like sexual hormone related thing to that, but I would probably classify it a lot more to societal. Women tend to be more like in groups and need more alone time afterwards, where guys tend to in society be lonelier and focus on work.
I mean, I would say that like the difference between these groups probably is partially biological and partially social, and I also think that the social dynamics are influenced by the biology, but not totally decided by it. I guess.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
it's pretty complex. But
I'd say with Helen-
that's a
yeah.
very interesting difference that Tara mentions. I'm not very surprised by it, but it is really interesting.
Yeah, it's like I've talked with like Helen having some deep conversations about this, but I think a lot of it, like, even just if you look at an evolutionary standpoint, like if guys are like if men were the hunter-gatherers in society, they're the ones that are expected to go out and do all the work in terms of like hunting and gathering.
Yeah.
And if the women were the ones who were responsible for like effectively raising the children and being stuck in the camps, socializing, like it's not hard to see how like over like millennia those sort of social dynamics really like took form. So
Yeah, that makes
I don't
sense.
know if it's necessarily a biological imperative per se, and potentially more just
What is this? Oh, I
dude,
almost
that's-
had it. That was the last one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, Tara's fucking destroying this. This is biological imperative to fuck up 10-4 collapse.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I don't know if it's a biological imperative that like guys are naturally like better at seclusion and work, and girls are biologically better at group communication or socializing, or if just because of the biological differences, the different sexes end up in those types of group dynamics.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of chicken or the egg scenario going on there.
Yeah, because the other tough thing too is I imagine this is also a really hard thing to study, just due to like the way that how malleable the brain is. So like if we as a society say that guys are supposed to do this one thing and girls are supposed to do this other thing, we're gonna naturally separate those sexes out from a young age into those groups, and that's how their brains are gonna develop.
Well, like, yeah,
It's like-
the brain is super malleable. I mean, like, you pick it up, you give it a roll around, you lick it, and it's like a completely different thing now.
And you go, oh.
That's me right now.
And I think the sad
Full
thing is-
monkey mode right now.
I think the sad thing is you probably couldn't do an ethical study that would like to really verify these things without like questionable methods of isolating babies from birth and creating very specific social situations to see how their brains develop.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like there's only so much we can figure out from the information we have. We need someone to get the source code to life and do a full decompilation, so we can look into this stuff properly. But I think like maybe with the whole like, I think maybe men need group activities because like, I think men are generally pretty uncomfortable with their own vulnerability, and I think talking to one other person is like
But is it
pretty
because men are
intimate and
uncomfortable-
confronting.
But are men uncomfortable with their own vulnerability because society deems men shouldn't be vulnerable?
Yes.
Or is it because
or
or
that's
is it
part of
because or is like part of it like men naturally evolved to not want to be vulnerable because they are the ones going out, putting themselves in danger, and how to create better coping mechanisms for vulnerability.
I mean, I'd say both of those things are interlinked and both correct.
Personally, I just say I don't care about any of this. We can't really know, so let's just treat everybody as individuals instead of making.
Well, I
like-
find this stuff
that's like-
interesting because I get into a lot of conversations with my brother about stuff like this, and I feel like I can agree on a lot of things broadly about gender, but like humans are very individual. Like,
Got it.
yeah,
Go to the landfill. If you want to finish that thought.
We've only been recording for
Oh, yeah,
25
damn.
minutes. That's crazy. 25-minute World 10 episode. Actually,
Whoa!
let's do a
Let's get
skate
started.
sequence.
We gotta
Let's
learn.
do
we
it.
gotta
hell
learn
yeah!
This is the big finale.
Let's
well,
go.
to story mode anyways. What the fuck?
Well, let's beat the stage first.
Yeah, then we can
Hold
call it
on,
finale.
hold on. What's going on here? There's a lot going on here, as a matter of fact.
It's an escape sequence.
Why is so much level so far away?
Yeah, there's
I think
A
it
lot of-
launches you. It probably launches you at the end.
Is that decoration or?
Oh, is this the Super Monkey Ball launch?
Yes, it's an escape sequence. It's
Oh,
gonna probably
shit.
like launch-
Oh, shit.
It's like an escape. It's an escape pod at the end.
Bro.
Yeah, no, I get what you're. I definitely.
It's a
get
play
what you're saying.
button.
I think.
Oh, the level's collapsing. No, it's
I think
not.
it's-
Wait, is it? Yes, it is. Goodbye.
Ooh. Oh, it's an escape sequence. Literally, it's. Oh my gosh, it's that Child the Hedgehog stage.
Right, that I definitely remember. I need to.
What if I don't hit the switch?
I feel like such a fraud when you guys bring up Shadow the Hedgehog because I'm so like I vaguely remember.
You need to
what
be
happened
falling
that
in
game.
order to. No, there's like a stage in Shadow the Hedgehog and hero, like if you go down the hero pathway, where the space station falling apart.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I did that. I think I mostly like I haven't played that much of the game. I think I mostly just did like one neutral playthrough.
Yeah, makes sense.
Fuck these objectives.
Yeah, the hero route also has like just the worst stages in the game. So.
Oh well, there you go.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, what happened?
No, the hero route having the worst stages.
Well, sometimes being a hero is like it's not rewarding. You do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, Shadow the
Not
Hedgehog's
because it's a
fun when
good
you're gunning
gameplay
people down.
experience. You know, like it's just like a.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm going too fast.
Yes. You gotta slow down like Shadow the Hedgehog.
Then this one's gonna flip up, and then flip up. Nice. And now what's going on? Oh,
I have to say, this is
I
like
hope-
one of the most chill, thoughtful Bros in the Landfill episodes in months.
ah!
I just wanted to say, like, I do agree with you to the extent that, like, knowing, like I think those studies on gender and stuff, gender dynamics are really important, especially because they can be very informative where we are in society. And knowing aggregates like such as men tend to be lonelier or men tend to do better in group therapy. While we might not be able to know for certain if it's truly biological, if it's this or that, like that gives us tools to address society as it is now. The thing that I get kind of worried about when we start talking about gender dynamics and those sorts of aggregates is taking it to the far extreme where people begin to see those as a matter of fact of gender without like appreciating that we don't have a full understanding of the human brain.
Well,
And-
there's also just the fact that like what I was sort of getting at before
Yeah.
is that like there's way more types of people than two. Like
Yeah.
way more. Like like even among people sharing a gender or across genders, like people are very unique and special. So like
Yes.
you know, I think knowing the stuff about gender, I do think it is useful for looking at demographics, and I also think that there are lots of things that men and women don't understand about each other because they don't intuitively have the same experiences in a lot of ways. So I think it's good to help bridge that gap by having more knowledge. But like, it's not a shortcut to knowing who a person is or what's good for that person.
Yes. Because that's when we really get into like those like toxic gender roles when we start fully going into biological imperatives in terms of sex.
Shit.
Damn, Tar, get good.
I'm trying to.
This is
Trybien.
the final level.
Man, I can't believe that we just bait and switch. Like we had like two like wacky, crazy brain episodes like in a row, and they were like near the finale, and we're just like, yo, let's just have like a nice philosophical talk about all these like topics of creativity and
And the human experience.
yeah. Like while we have like epic guitar music riffing in the background.
Yeah. That is really funny.
I just say like moral of the story, people aren't
Fuck.
people aren't percentages and aggregates.
I know that.
Nah. And do you have any final words before we return to the silly lunch?
Before we return to the landfill, because we may be cutting this episode off pretty soon.
Holy shit, lunch! I was playing Honkai Star Realms, and then I got a trash con icon for examining a trash can, and then I made that my profile icon. So now I have Bros in a Landfill identity on Honkai Star Realms, the new gacha game by Genshin Impact creators Mihoyo.
I've never in my life heard a more beautiful story.
And this has been Bros in a Landfill.
Signing off.
Later!
Okay, no more silly guys. I mean, no more serious. It's all silly.
No more bananas. This monkey only wants Powerade.
Oh shit!
Super Monkey Ball launch!
Go!